Many of our viewers can remember when WILD was the most popular radio station for the city's black community, and this was an AM station with limited signal and time for broadcasting. With the loss of ILD as a community outlet, there was still a demand for a certain cross-section of music and information. This has re-emerged with a new technology and some new interactivity, thanks to the vision of our guest, a Roxbury native. He's the CEO of Spectrum Broadcasting Corporation, and his venture, started earlier this year, is called Sun Music. We'd like to welcome Tessil Collins. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
This is like Back to the Future, but of course you're in this new medium, web radio?
Internet radio. It is a new medium, but for the most part it's the same idea. You bring music to the people through whatever medium that they can pick it up, and at this time it's now the phone, the mobile device, or your computer. And you can pick it up on the radio too.
And I guess the other thing is that people would come to this kind of a mix because there isn't much else?
There's not much else out there, and they're looking for a place that they can hear new music, get information on, what's popular or just different. And here in Boston especially, we don't have a place where you can get urban music, soul music, jazz music, all in one place.
Now, let's walk back from the new technology a little bit, because you've been into radio
for a long time.
How did this get started?
I got started in high school. As you know, we went to high school together.
Yes, same class.
Yeah, right? Same class. And when we were in high school, I was in a junior achievement program at WILD. So 16, 17 years old, had a weekend program where we basically did what was called, little R&B on ILD, and that's where I started. Went to Tufts University, music director out there, and pretty much did the same thing. And while I was at Tufts, I started producing radio, producing Jimmy Myers, Bob LaBelle, Lavelle Diet, Guy Manella. These are names. Jerry Williams. Folks may not know those folks, as well as the Celtics and the Bruins. And at that time, WBZ had an FM. They have an FM again, I guess, but it was WBZ FM, and I did the overnights at WBZ FM in a weekend music show, which is pretty much the same as what I'm doing now with Sun Music.
Now, I mean, when we were teenagers, we were all into music, but you were really at a radio station, pumping this out.
Yep. I was at ILD. I was at ILD for many years. I was at WBCN. I was in the sales side and the production side. And the curious thing about the radio piece is that that's what got me into the music and record industry. And I spent many years at Casablanca, RCA, A&M, Arista Records here in Boston, covering New England and upstate New York. So I've played both sides of the music industry, with the radio and the record industry included.
So this is internet radio. For a person who's listening, it's free. Mm-hmm. So how does this get paid for?
It gets paid for through advertising. Same traditional way. There are banner ads like you would have in a newspaper and on any website. And then in the player, there are also more spaces for banner ads. And then with the stream, just like you hear on the radio, there's dropping in of ads into the stream. So there's a variety of ways we can monetize.
And of course, you're promoting music. So if somebody listens to something, they like it a lot, and they want to buy it from iTunes, there's a very easy, quick way to do that.
Yeah, you just roll over the player. It highlights a shopping cart, and you can buy what you hear right from the player. At the same time, we have links that you can go to through a chart and through a chart of what's new on Sun Music, and you can buy directly from there also.
So I'm really intrigued by this way of going back to what DJs did, 50, 60 years ago, because in theory with the internet is we don't need DJs. You can go on to YouTube, you can listen to it, then you can buy it on iTunes yourself if you can find it.
Well, the other part of that same scenario is that the Pandoras, the Spotifys, the radios, they're all giving you the option to tell us what you like, and we'll give you stuff that sounds like that, which is convenient for folks that want to keep hearing their comfort level of songs and stuff that they're familiar with. But here in Boston and in other places around the country, there aren't places that you can actually go and find find new music. find new artists, find and hear what, you know, may be something you'll like, but you just didn't know it existed.
Talk about how important this mix of music is, because maybe we should describe it a little bit more, but how it's important to the audience.
Well, there's 4 genres of music, and I got a little note here because there are so many musicians and artists that we're playing that are familiar and unfamiliar. But it's hip urban soul, which is a little adult contemporary, popular music, not so hard on the hip hop and the misogyny and the swearing, but not so adult that it's, you know, something that the young folks wouldn't want to hear. That jazz, which again isn't so smooth that we're falling asleep, but isn't so edgy that
it's not airport music.
Yeah, not airport music, but it's not, you know, so far on the jazz edge that people, you know, can't hear or understand what it is. The inspiration, which is gospel, and the sound of the sun, which is classic R&B. So we're playing pretty much everything under the sun, and pretty much what other people on the other stations in town aren't playing. On the hip urban soul side, we're playing folks like Mesa, Zoe, Glenn Lewis, Chrisette Michelle, Mavis Staples, Funkadelic, Prince, all of who have new music out that you wouldn't really know that the older artists are still releasing new stuff. On the jazz side, we're really excited about an artist named Cecile McLaurin Salvant, George Benson, Freddie Cole, Christian McBride, and then local artists too. A young lady named Orpheon Basie, who has an album coming out next month, and Andre Ward, who just was playing at Scholars this week.
All right. So if people want to catch up with this, what's the best place to look for it?
www.sun-music.net, and you can get it on your computer or on your Apple iTunes apps or Google Play.
Great. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank
Lots
you,
of luck.
Chris. Thank you.
Tessil Collins will have more news in just a moment.